Let's first take a look at how the Asian markets have started off. Now, it's a mixed picture, as we were just highlighting in the headline as well. The Hang Seng is flat as flat can be, but the Taiwanese index is underperforming today. It's down 1% as we speak. The underperformance also coming from the Kospi today in South Korea, seeing some profit booking from higher levels. That index is down around 0.5%. On the flip side, the Nikkei in Japan, which was underperforming yesterday, is doing well for itself in today's session, trading with gains of around 0.5%. The Shanghai Composite too, trading just above the flat line. So barring the Kospi and the index in Taiwan, it's a relatively quiet picture across the Asia Pacific. So a mixed screen is what we are getting to see at the start of the final trading day this week. Pull up the GIFT Nifty as well. And similar to Asia, the implied open is suggesting an equally sluggish start after the sell-off that we witnessed in yesterday's trading session. Of course, we are coming on the back of 4 straight days of losses. And so, to set you up for today's trading session, our research team is here with the trade setup. The stocks should be in the news and, of course, the FNO side of things as well. First up, Gaurav is here to tell us the market cues that you need to watch out for. Gaurav, good morning. What's on your list today?
Well, good morning. If you look at market, yesterday we saw Nifty decline almost more than 1%. And the reason being that if you look at the top losers, we have got Hindalco, Jio Financials, ONGC, Wipro, L&T. So all big names were under pressure yesterday. In fact, in the last week itself, so far, we have seen Nifty declining more than 1.7%. So let's watch out if this weakness sustains in the market. But apart from that, if you look at sectoral performance also, it wasn't a good week for sectors as well. We saw yesterday, at least, we saw all the sectors were in red. All Nifty Metals, Nifty Energy, Nifty PSUs. In fact, these sectors declined more than 2%. And at the same time, on a weekly basis as well, we saw Nifty Energy and Nifty Metals continued their weakness in the weekly performance. Stock-wise, if you look at the action yesterday, although the market was weak, we saw Alkyl Amines, India Cements, Niva Bupa and Trident actually gained more than 4%. So let's see if there is any momentum which is sustained in these stocks for the today's trading session. And at the same time, we saw on the weaker side, we saw BHCL, Signature Global declining more than 10%. And at the same time, Transformers and Rectifiers, Schneider Electric, NMDC were down more than 7%. Other than that, let's also watch out for IEX today, because today is the next hearing from Aptel on the coupling case. And let's see if anything material comes out. Last time, remember, the stock went up almost 10% on Wednesday. Other than that, we have got IRDA and Tejas Network. These companies will come up with their results for third quarter. And IPO, on the IPO front, we have got Bharat Coking Coal, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Coal India, which will be open for subscription. Other events, if you look at the global events, we'll get Trump and oil executives meet on today. Let's see if anything material comes out of that. India and US FTA deal. Now that is also something that we will be watching out for. And lastly, we will also get the Amphi data for the month of December. Let's also not forget that the US market is a key market to watch out for, and it can actually have some grip on the Indian market as well, because as you suggested, Supreme Court has designated today as a decision day, and there may be some decision on the Trump's tariff as well. And lastly, let's also not forget about the unemployment data and non-farm payroll data, which will come from the US market. So let's see if it has any grip on the Indian market in a day-to-day.
Yes, we'll be watching out for all of that. Gaurav, thank you for sharing that with us. Sudarshan now joins in with cues from the FNO space. Sudarshan, good morning. Well, at the lowest point of the day yesterday, sharp sell-off. What's the FNO data indicating today?
It's a weak setup that we are seeing from the FNO front. And before I talk about the data and all the FI actions, do note down the 8:30 p.m. in your calendar, because that's the time Supreme Court's decision, or say Supreme Court statement, is expected on Trump's tariff. So have that 8:30 p.m. noted down in your calendar. Now coming, so some of the headlines from the FNO data. First, FI's additions on the short side continued even on Thursday after Wednesday. Second, Nifty has given up all the key levels, 50 DMA, 20 DMA. It's below all the important key levels. Which sector is relatively better placed? That's the financial. It has fallen also yesterday, but relative, if you compare with other indices, it's placed better. One positive point, or one silver lining, if you can talk about, PCR, that is the put-call ratio, is back into the oversold zone. If it's in the range of 0.60 to 0.69 or 0.70, we call it oversold zone. Now, what can be the range? So for now, range for Nifty is expected 25,800 to 26,100. If we fail to hold 25,800, there is a possibility of Nifty slipping to as low as 25,500. Now coming to the flows front. In the index futures, we have seen FI selling more than 5,200 crore. In the stock futures, they have sold almost 3,300 crore. Now longs exposure has reduced to 9%. That's the recent low. On the short side, exposure has increased to 91%. Now coming to the options data. On the call side, 26,000 and 26,100 were the most active ones where we have seen call writing. On the put side, 26,100, majority of the put option writers have come out of that option. Now the addition was seen in 25,900 and 25,600. Those were the most active put option. Support 25,530. That's the 100-day moving average. Now resistance would be around 26,045. That's the 20-day moving average. As far as the Nifty Bank is concerned, support would be 59,400. That's the 20-day moving average. Resistance would remain around record high. Two stocks remain in the bench, SAIL and Samant Capital. Some of the stocks that I'll keep an eye on. First, BHEL, yesterday it was down 10%, long unwinding we have seen. Dr. Reddy's has been seeing fresh shorts and KPIT too has been seeing fresh shorts.
Sudarshan, thank you for that update there. And lastly, Ria joins in with cues with, of course, the stocks that you need to watch out for today. Ria, good morning.
Well, good morning. Let's start off with Elcon Engineering first, which has come out with its Q3 numbers. Revenue has gone up by roughly 4% on a year-on-year basis, but EBITDA has seen an increase of around 23% compared to the previous year, but margins have come down to 20% this time around versus 27% that we saw in Q3 of last year. Moving on, a lot of stocks will be in focus on the back of order wins. The first one is BHEL. They have received an LOA for a coal gasification and cleaning plant in Odisha worth roughly rupees 5,400 crores. Power Mech has received a BESS order from the West Bengal State Electricity Distribution Company for establishing 1 gigawatt hour of BESS projects, and they also have an additional green shoe option for further 1 gigawatt hour. Waaree Renewable Tech will also be in focus. They have received an LOA for a revised project capacity for 704 MW AC project. The commercial value, however, has been reduced from roughly 1,252 crores to 1,039 crores now. For Astra Micro, the JV company has bagged an order worth roughly 275 crores from the IAF for integration and installation of software in aircrafts, and RVNL will also be in focus after receiving an LOA from East Coast Railway for work tenders worth roughly 210 crore rupees. Some other stocks will also be in focus apart from these. Sagar Cements is going to sell 8.14% stake in its arm Andhra Cements via an OFS by the 12th of January, and they are going to sell up to 75 lakh shares on this front to achieve minimum public shareholding norms. Prestige Industries has entered a pact to buy a 16.38 acre land parcel in Chennai. And lastly, Bharat Forge has signed an MOU with a Germany-based company called Agile Products Robots to advance AI-led industrial automation.
Ria, thank you for sharing that list of stocks that you should be watching out for in today's trading session. We'll take a short break, get you all the cues from Wall Street on the other side.